Hey guys, welcome to the Fighters Replay. I'm Rob.
I'm Kay.
I'm Cam.
I'm Declan.
Man, this card was good as it was. And then injuries happen, which is sad, but it happens. And then the UFC made a bad situation somehow better, in my opinion at least. The co-main and main event are almost like dream fights that we thought we would never be able to see, especially now. And off of 12 days' notice, regardless of who you're rooting for, you have to give Usman and Volkanovski the credits for taking a fight on short notice. But anyways, let's get into it.
So into our first fight, we got Khamzat Chimaev versus Kamaru Usman. Oh my goodness. What do you guys first thoughts on this one?
This is an absolutely insane fight. I cannot believe this shit is actually happening for real.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, it feels like a long time coming, and we got it in just such a roundabout way. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's happening, and I still think it's very interesting.
Yo, can I be honest with you guys? Honestly, when they made this announcement, I honestly think this is a better fight than what was before.
I agree.
What was announced before. I like this fight better than Costa.
I agree 1,000%.
For me, I think Chimaev was going to run through Costa. I don't think he was prepared for the fight. I mean, I know he just went through surgery, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was training hard. Who knows? I don't think he was. I think he was going to get ran, like Chimaev was going to run through him, finish him early. But this is a completely different fight now. I have a completely different stance on this one. This is Kamaru Usman. This is not Paulo Costa. Kamaru Usman takes these things so seriously. He was one of the greatest welterweight champions that we've had. And, oh my God, this is going to be crazy.
I think that this is a big opportunity for both of these fighters to really prove themselves. This is kind of the really big test for Chimaev. Chimaev has been up against tough opponents. I'm not taking that away from him, but, Usman is a different caliber of fighter that, win, lose, or draw, if you make it the distance with that man, you got respect just for going the distance, He's a great fighter. Usman's highly vetted. He knows, what he's doing. He's done this a time or two. And like you said, one of the greatest welterweights that has ever come out of the UFC. And, I think the only disadvantages that Usman is bringing is, he hasn't been on a full fight camp. I know that a lot of fighters, they stay in shape year round and whatnot, and they do their training and stuff like that. But, at the professional level that they're competing at, not having a full fight camp can really affect them. This is a mental game just as much as it is a physical one. And these are high-level fights. These are no-joke opponents where it's not like, it's okay, win or lose, it'll be fine, it'll be a good fight. But, these are guys that you can't take for a joke, either one of them, So Chimaev's biggest downfall is this he takes Usman too lightly. I said this when it was going to originally be Costa versus Chimaev. The only way that Costa wins is if Chimaev underestimates him, and I think that's the same situation here with Usman. Other than that, I think it can go to a very close and competitive decision. What about you guys?
I mean, if you look at the guys here, like Chimaev, he's been going into camp for a guy who is not exactly known for his groundwork, and now he's going up against Usman, who is one of the best wrestlers, the guys with the best ground game we've seen in the sport. I mean, he is far and away, if anyone disagrees, they're wrong, the greatest welterweight since Georges St. Pierre. And I mean, he just takes that title and runs with it. And it's going to be tough for both guys. I think there's disadvantages on both sides here because Chimaev's been training for a completely different fighter. Usman isn't exactly in fight camp, but I think this is going to be Chimaev's. This is going to prove whether he's really the up and coming star everyone thinks he is. Gilbert Burns was a tough test, but we didn't really get to see him do what we thought he would do in that fight because their wrestling was just so evenly matched. So I'm thinking that this will turn out a little differently, and we're going to see what Chimaev can really do on the ground against Usman. I still think Usman might take it, though. What do you guys think about that?
I can agree. I can get behind that, you know? Usman is on his comeback arc, you know? Everybody knows the fucking headshot that was heard around the world. You know, Leon Edwards, you know he was wanting to come back after that. And then to lose a decision to the same guy after that, you know he was waiting for a big comeback moment. You know, and ain't nobody trying to see a fucking trilogy between him and Leon Edwards. It would be the fourth fight, right? Yeah, it would be the
Correct.
It would be the fourth fight. Ain't nobody trying to see a fourth fight between Leon Edwards and Usman, respectfully. So, you know, this is his big comeback moment. If he can beat an up-and-coming, you know, star like this in the UFC, he's set. This is his big comeback story, his big comeback era. This puts him back into the light of the UFC, and you know, it can truly be his big turnaround moment.
And for this fight, I don't know if you guys heard about this one, but this could be the number one contender fight for the middleweight division. The winner of this one could get the next shot at the middleweight title, which would be absolutely insane.
Yeah, could you imagine having Kamaru Usman challenge Sean Strickland for the middleweight championship of the world? I mean, as devastated as I am about, you know, is he taking that loss? This is just a crazy scenario that if all this didn't happen, you know, we wouldn't have been able to see. And it's kind of exciting for that, honestly.
Yeah, it's a whole new era of the UFC.
Yeah, honestly, I'd love to see it. It's exciting. It's something new in the middleweight division, something we haven't seen yet. And it's exciting. Either way of whoever wins this fight, I mean, Chimaev or Usman, it's exciting to see them go on and shake up the middleweight division a little bit.
Honestly,
I gotta say, I'm really torn on this fight. I'm torn on this fight because if Kamaru Usman had a full training camp for this fight, I'd probably back him to just get it done. But there's so many factors. There's so many factors of a losing streak that he's on. How has that affected him mentally? Losing to Leon Edwards twice.
Oh, yeah.
How has that affected him mentally? What does that do to a fighter who's been dominant, who has won everything?
Oh, yeah.
He's one of the most dominant welterweight fighters ever, and then goes to, and I just lost twice. Like, is he in a slump, or is he going to bounce back strong?
Yeah.
Knowing the fighter that Kamaru Usman is, he will probably bounce back pretty strong. But my problem is he's not getting a full fight camp for this one. Chimaev has been training for this fight. And honestly, I don't think Chimaev's hands are that great.
No, they aren't.
I don't think his hands are that great.
Nope.
And Kamaru Usman, we've seen his striking improve over and over again. We've seen him improve like crazy. And in the wrestling department, Kamaru Usman is one of the best wrestlers there is.
Yep.
And Chimaev's a good wrestler as well, don't get me wrong. But I don't think he is going to be able to do whatever he wants to Kamaru Usman.
No, absolutely not.
So if we give him the advantage on the feet, I give Kamaru Usman the advantage on the feet, and I give him the advantage in the wrestling department. Now, the only thing I can see happening here is if he somehow does get a takedown, maybe a submission. But overall, I see Kamaru Usman getting it done in every way, to be honest with you. Now, I'm going to say Kamaru Usman by decision.
Okay,
I'm going to say Kamaru Usman by decision.
That's solid.
But at the same time, he hasn't got a full fight camp. Will he be ready for this? I mean, Kamaru Usman's a beast, and I'm hoping he bounces back strong because I'd love to see him in the middleweight division.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that, Declan. I think if you look at them with the ground game they've presented, they both have fought a really, really amazing grappler in Gilbert Burns, and both have passed that test, granted in different ways. But I mean, if you look at each guy and you take them at their core strengths and weaknesses and stuff, Kamaru Usman, he's got like that peak wrestler striking, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, obviously not like peak striking period, but like for a guy who is primarily a wrestler, like, and how those guys tend to throw their strikes, he's kind of hit the peak, like some of the best we've seen in that sense. And I don't think Chimaev has been there. And I think when it comes to the ground, it'll be interesting to see. But while it's on the feet, and all fights start on the feet, then I think Kamaru's going to dominate, and I think that he'll win pretty convincingly. I'm seeing a decision. I think if it was a full camp, I think Kamaru could pretty much do whatever he wanted. But I see this going a unanimous decision to Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, I can see this. I can see this going to a very tough, close decision as well. I think Usman comes out on top. Like you guys had said, he has the advantage on, striking and grappling. It's no joke. He can wrestle. He knows, jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. So, he's definitely not no ragdoll when it comes to there. And Khamzat Chimaev, he's used to kind of ragdolling guys. He's used to kind of more strikers and stuff like that than what he is, true wrestlers. And, this goes back to, you know what, I'm not even going to bring that up because Lord knows what Robbie would say. But nonetheless, two wrestlers from two different countries, one of them's got the striking advantage. One of them, has yet to prove their striking. It's going to be an interesting matchup. I think this is just going to be a prettier version of Gilbert Burns and Khamzat Chimaev. I really do think this is just going to be a prettier version. Kamaru is going to make it look a bit more pristine, more technical, and kind of really slow down the fast pace that I think Khamzat always comes out with. Nonetheless, it's going to be a great fucking fight. Regardless of who wins this fight, I think the fans win, because I think this was the most anticipated matchup that had happened that could ever happen, so we're all very happy getting this fight. But I think this brings us right into the big main event of the evening, the one that we have all been waiting for. Cam, would you do us the honors?
Yes, I would, Caitlin. And this is the replacement fight of the century. We got the much-anticipated rematch between Alexander the Great Volkanovski
Woo!
and Mahachev.
Sorry, go ahead.
Nah, you're good. It's really unfortunate seeing Charles have to step out of this fight, because we all know that Charles really, really wanted to come back and reclaim his belt, and we obviously know that Rob is very torn up about it. We all are, of course, but, he has his favorites. But, we know that he's going to have his shot later down the line. This was out of his control, and we got to work with what we got, and right now it's Volk's chance at redemption.
This is absolutely insane, and I think everybody's first reaction when we first saw this was, Alex, why? Why would you do this to us? We all know he just had surgery. He was coming off an injury. He had a great last fight. I'm not saying that. He had a wonderful TKO finish over Yair Rodriguez, which is no fucking joke. And then was a very, very close decision between Islam last time. That was a close fight. It was a close fight. I think the best way that we have all agreed upon the recalling of Islam and Alex, the first fight, I think the best recalling would be that Islam had won the point decision by technicality and, positioning and stuff like that. I can understand how he won the point game. But if you look at the fight as a whole, not round by round by round, as a whole fight, Alex won the fight. And I think that's the perfect way to describe it, because, both fighters had their moments, and both fighters capitalized on what they could, but it was a high level fight, and when you get two high level guys like that going at it, in a cage, it can lead to lots of different areas, and we definitely saw all around what both of those fighters are made of. But overall, I think Alex exposed a lot of Islam's weaknesses. I don't think that Islam had ever been in the cage with somebody who had pushed him to that limit that Alex did. That was the toughest opponent that he had, seen and faced yet. He's the most credible, and he, went out there and showed that he's not to be ragdolled around, and he's not this little dude anymore, but when it comes down to, all right, now you're on 10 days notice taking a fight. You said you've been on the couch. You said you've been drinking, which all due respect, you deserve, champ deserves his rest, well-deserved rest, deserve to be, partying up or whatever. But to take a fight on 10 days' notice against a high-level opponent like this who has been in a full training camp, ready for another rematch up against a different guy, it's going to be a tough one for Alex to pull off. But I think if anybody were to be able to pull it off, I think Alex is the guy.
Yeah, let me tell you, my reaction when I heard Volkanovski stepped in, this guy is a savage for taking this fight. Not only is he just taking a fight on 10 days' notice, he is taking the double champ. He's trying to become double champ here on 10 days' notice. Are you that's insane? I don't know if it's the smartest move ever, but either way, he's a savage for doing it. And his mentality is elite. He's don't look at it like that. He's going for greatness, man. An opportunity presents itself, he's gonna fucking take it.
And I feel
that's amazing.
I feel like that's what makes, Alex so great, and especially in this generation, he's coming up and he's doing what he says he would do, or doing what he says, he would take, and who he says he is, and all this stuff. He's been portrayed as the guy who doesn't turn down a fight. He's not afraid of taking an opponent. He's not afraid of, a fight date or something like that, and this just goes to prove that once again, except with a bit of higher stakes. But still, nonetheless, he's going out and he's proven that, he is one of the greats. He is one of the tops. He is one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters out there. And, he's going to go toe-to-toe with you. What is it? Wherever, whoever, whenever, he's there. He's there. So, I want to see Volk win this. Believe me, I really, really do. And I think he can. I really think he can. But, Islam is no fucking joke, dude. I don't want to ever seem like I'm, counting out a fighter or anything like that, especially of that caliber. And, Islam knows his shit. He's had a full training camp. It's been hard. It's been intense. Khabib came back for the training camp, which is a big thing, I feel like. I feel like that's definitely going to affect his game. And, I think this is going to be a fucking fight of the century.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think it's tough, because Volkanovski, I'd say, is the most complete fighter all around that we've seen since George St. Pierre, who I would say is the most complete fighter of all time, and that is saying a lot. Volkanovski can really do just about whatever he wants, and he's taking a big test here. I think that were this rematch to happen later down the line and Volk won, I think he would be up there with the GOATs, with the Demetrius Johnsons, with the Anderson Silvas, with the John Jones, and
I agree.
Him taking this fight on short notice proves that he has the mentality to be that, but now he's got to get that through that last step and actually win the fight, and I think the main concern here, which is something I don't think a lot of people are pointing out, is that Charles is a very complete fighter as well. He can do a lot of things, he's very good in any situation, in any fight, and that's not too dissimilar to Volk. I mean, I think Volk is a more complete fighter than Charles, and it's kind of hard to tell, just from records and stuff like that, but Islam's been in camp for that. He's been in camp for a guy who can wrestle and a guy who can strike, and I think that's my main concern, and that's why I think with a heavy heart I have to say I think Islam wins. I think he'll probably do it by a unanimous decision.
Oh, you broke my heart there. You broke my heart. You were on such a good wave there, Cam. I was really rooting for you, and then you ruined it all. We need to have faith in our boy here. This is our man, Alexander the Great. Are you kidding me? He's going to come and pull the biggest upset of the year. Take these motherfuckers, take double champ status home on 10 days notice off the couch drinking and shit. That is my boy. That is the dude who is going to do it. If there was ever a guy to do it, guarantee you it is going to be Alexander the Great Volkanovski. And I think he can do it. And nobody can convince me different. I think he's going to do it. He's going to do it.
Oh, man. You know what, Caitlin? You've turned my logic off. You've gotten my passion going. Alexander the Great Volkanovski by however the hell he wants to do it.
Let's go!
Oh, I'll come in with my logical breakdown.
No!
I am so sorry. But, okay. 10 days notice, first of all. 10 days notice. This is not in Australia. Yeah, this fight is not in Australia. This fight is in Abu Dhabi,
Yep.
United Arab Emirates. It's going to be Islam home territory. Alexander Volkanovski is going to be the bad guy there. Okay, not only that, again, the 10 days notice is crazy for this fight. For a guy like Islam, I know Volkanovski is, one of the greatest fighters I've ever seen. But 10 days notice for a guy like Islam is still crazy.
Yeah.
A guy that you've already lost to once. I know it was a close fight. It was a really close fight. And Volkanovski did put his stamp on the fight. He showed that there was holes in his fight game. But yeah, 10 days notice is crazy, man. For a guy like Islam, I think Islam is going to be prepared. And I can't see him not getting this one done. I think Islam, his wrestling is going to be on point. I think where it could go wrong, though, is the striking department. If Islam falls in love with his hands, it's an ego on him, and doesn't want to wrestle, and tries to only strike with him for 5 rounds, he could get caught. He could very well get caught, and I think that's the best path to victory for Volkanovski. Is his takedown defense has to be on point. With a guy like Islam, you can't afford too much. Now, it's a different story because Alexander Volkanovski, even when he was taken down, had very good defense on the ground. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I can't see Islam not getting this done. If Volkanovski gets a full fight camp, it's a different story. My breakdown's a little bit different. But, yeah, I think Islam's going to be too strong in this fight.
I'm with you on that, Deck. I think full camp Volk, I think analyzing what he saw from Islam the first time, I think he would absolutely get it done.
Well, you know what? I think that Islam's gonna be under a lot of fucking pressure, and I think he's gonna sell the bag. I think Volkanovski is gonna get this done, bro. I think he's gonna TKO him. I think you guys are fucking dead wrong. I do not think that Islam Mahachev will win this fight. I think Islam Mahachev is a great wrestler. However, Alexander Volkanovski has proven under Craig Jones that Islam won't be really present as a submission threat. Considering, that's Craig fucking Jones, one of the greatest grapplers we got here on earth. You saw he wasn't able to do shit last time, but hold him in place. What did Islam realistically do in their last fight besides, hold him against the cage, sniff his nuts? In terms of an actual fight, Volk won. In terms of just control time, which is literally the only reason why Islam won, it's just control time. Did he have some moments on the feet? Absolutely.
Right.
But this is a Volk with nothing to
question.
lose. This motherfucker gonna throw the whole sink at him from round 1 to start to finish. This motherfucker, I think the pressure's gonna be too much on Islam. I think he'll get overwhelmed. I think he's gonna realize that he's getting a lot thrown at him. I think he'll get sloppy. And you know what? I actually predict that Volkanovski's gonna get a submission win. I actually truly think he will. I think Islam would sell the bag that bad. I really do.
To say that Islam doesn't have a submission threat after the Charles fight is crazy.
Well, that's different. That was after Charles got rocked, after he threw some stupid shit. Volk is not going to throw stupid shit.
Oh, I get that, but did you see how fast he was able to pull off that submission?
Okay, but when Charles...
It just takes a second, bro.
But when Charles was not dazed, when he wasn't rocked, he didn't do shit to him there wasn't shit he could do to him on the ground. He was not able to pass his guard at all. He didn't pass his guard at all in the first round. After he got rocked, yes. Anybody could fucking pass anybody if they're half conscious.
If he did that in the first round, that would be crazy. That'd be embarrassing for Charles if he wasn't able to defend that.
Well, that's because he was fully conscious. He wasn't rocked.
Yeah, I know in the first round, of course, you're high energy first round. You should have all your stamina. Yeah, come on, man.
But you gotta realize that's after Charles is rocked. I think in any other circumstance, I know Alex said he thinks that Islam would beat Charles in a jiu-jitsu match, but I truly don't think so. I feel like they was at a stalemate when they were both on the ground in the first round.
right, bro. We'll see. We're gonna find out.
We gonna see, my boy. We gonna fucking see. Your boy gonna go down that night, and then we gonna fucking celebrate his downfall.
It's not my boy, dude. Islam is not my boy.
I
Let's
don't
clear
care.
that up.
I don't care.
All right, yo.
Don't say that.
Nah, be real. Be real. You be in the back fucking blowing him before he comes out the fight, man.
I
I
was
just
rooting for
know
Charles
it.
in the rematch. I was rooting for Charles in the rematch, by the way.
I know. And I'm rooting for KSI.
Yeah, exactly. All that.
Anyways, we all know this is going to be a banger of a card. A card that was already good just got 20 million times better. You know, new co-main and main event, 10 days notice. You know, some big huevos walking around, you know. So, UFC's definitely doing their thing. You know, we're doing our thing. Be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, you know, all the great things. And stay tuned. We got lots more coming for y'all. UFC 294, let's go!